The boxing world is buzzing with anticipation as the rematch between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach looms on the horizon, scheduled for August 2025. Their first encounter, a controversial majority draw on March 1, 2025, at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, left fans and pundits divided, sparking heated debates about the outcome and what to expect in the second clash. The fight, a premier boxing champions pay-per-view event, saw Davis, a three-division world champion and one of boxing's biggest stars, enter as a heavy 16-1 favorite. Yet, Roach, a skilled fighter with a decorated amateur background, defied expectations, pushing Davis to the limit in a 12-round battle for the WBA lightweight championship. The controversy surrounding a non-called knockdown in the ninth round, coupled with Davis's apparent struggles, has only amplified the intrigue for the rematch. As the boxing community weighs in, opinions are split, with some believing Davis will make critical adjustments, while others see Roach capitalizing on his momentum and mental edge. The first fight was a spectacle that showcased both fighters' skills and resilience. Davis, known for his devastating knockout power and slick southpaw style, was expected to dominate Roach, who had moved up from the junior lightweight division. However, Roach, a native of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, proved he was no pushover. He fought with poise, patience, and precision, taking Davis's hardest punches and countering effectively. The fight was razor close, with Judge Eric Marlinsky scoring it 115-113 in favor of Davis, while judges Glenn Feldman and Steve Weisfeld scored it 114-114, resulting in a majority draw. The defining moment came in the ninth round when Davis took a knee just 43 seconds in, moments after Roach threw a jab. Referee Steve Willis controversially did not count it as a knockdown, nor did he penalize Davis or disqualify him when his trainer, Calvin Ford, wiped a substance from his eyes, effectively granting an unauthorized timeout. Had the knee been ruled a knockdown, Roach could have been declared the new WBA lightweight champion, a point that has fueled much of the controversy surrounding the fight. The boxing community's reaction to the draw was immediate and polarized. Some, like Rolando "Raleigh" Romero, who was knocked out by Davis in 2022, believed the fight was too close to call definitively. Romero, speaking before a press conference for his own fight against Ryan Garcia on May 2, 2025, in Times Square, acknowledged Roach's impressive performance but predicted Davis would make the necessary adjustments in the rematch. "I'd take Tank," Romero said, emphasizing Davis's ability to learn from his mistakes. However, he also noted that Davis didn't seem himself, hinting at possible distractions or lackluster preparation. Romero revealed that Davis's training camp was unconventional, with Davis sparring only a 122-pounder of similar height, raising questions about his readiness. Despite this, Romero maintained that Davis remains a pound-for-pound talent, and an off night doesn't diminish his greatness. Ryan Garcia, who suffered a seventh-round TKO loss to Davis in April 2023, echoed Romero's sentiments in an interview with ES News. Garcia believes Davis underestimated Roach in their first meeting, expecting him to fold under pressure. "I got Tank," Garcia said, predicting Davis would shift into a higher gear for the rematch, approaching it with greater intensity and focus. Garcia, however, expressed frustration with the officiating, particularly the non-called knockdown. "The commission needs to do something about that knee," he said, arguing that inconsistent rule enforcement undermines the sport's integrity. Garcia's perspective, rooted in his own experience facing Davis, adds weight to the narrative that Davis may have been caught off guard but will come better prepared for the rematch. In contrast, undefeated women's boxing pound-for-pound great Clarissa Shields offered a different take, focusing not only on the fight but also on Davis's mental state. In a March 28, 2025, interview with Fight Hub TV, Shields expressed concern about Davis's apparent disenchantment with boxing. "When I hear some of his interviews, I can tell he's not in love with the sport anymore," she said, citing comments where Davis discouraged kids from pursuing boxing and mentioned personal struggles, including an eviction. Shields suggested that Davis's mental struggles could hinder his performance, giving Roach a psychological edge. "I think Lamont has the mental edge," she said, predicting Roach would win the rematch if Davis doesn't address his personal challenges. Shields recommended therapy, believing it could help Davis regain his focus and passion. Despite their personal feud, Shields acknowledged Davis's talent, calling him a bad man in the ring, but emphasized Roach's skill and durability, noting his decorated amateur career and ability to take Davis's punches. Shields' analysis of the first fight highlighted Roach's tactical approach. She believed that if Roach had been more aggressive, he could have secured a unanimous decision. Now that he knows he can take Tank's punch, "I think Lamont will be even better in the rematch," she said, predicting Roach would maintain his composure while stepping on the gas. Shields' balanced perspective before the first fight was notable, as she refused to sleep on Roach despite the odds heavily favoring Davis. Her insights, combined with her observation of Davis's demeanor, paint a picture of a rematch where mental fortitude could be as critical as physical skill. Shakur Stevenson, a three-division champion and one of the few who predicted Roach would give Davis trouble, also weighed in. Stevenson, who won $25,000 betting on the fight going the distance, emphasized Roach's resilience and preparation. "I know who Lamont Roach is," Stevenson told the Ring, referencing their shared amateur history and time in the gym together. He warned that the rematch would be just as challenging for Davis, who would need to be better than his best to secure a victory. Stevenson's confidence in Roach stems from their long-standing familiarity, as the two fought as amateurs and sparred extensively. Despite his respect for Roach, Stevenson expressed a preference for Davis to win, citing the potential for a high-profile, lucrative fight between himself and Davis down the line. Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. added another layer to the discussion, praising Roach's performance while predicting Davis would come out on top in the rematch. Speaking to pro boxing fans, Jones noted that Roach, who grew up in a similar boxing ecosystem as Davis, shocked the world in their first fight and could do so again. However, he believes Davis's renewed motivation and adjustments will lead to a more dominant performance. "Tank will come with a different attitude, a different personality, different motivation," Jones said, acknowledging Roach's skill but betting on Davis's ability to adapt. Bill Haney, father and trainer of Devin Haney, offered a succinct but pointed warning to Roach during an April 18, 2025, interview on the Cigar Talk podcast. "Lamont, get to work now," Haney said, urging Roach to focus on preparation rather than talk. Haney's comments reflect the high stakes of the rematch, where Roach will need to replicate or exceed his first performance to dethrone Davis. The controversy surrounding the ninth-round knee remains a focal point. Many in the boxing community, including Garcia and Stevenson, believe it should have been ruled a knockdown, potentially altering the fight's outcome. The incident, coupled with the referee's failure to penalize Davis for his trainer's intervention, has led to calls for greater accountability in officiating. Roach's team, while vocal about the oversight, has focused on preparing for the rematch, confident that their fighter's performance proved he belongs at the elite level. Roach's journey to this point has been one of perseverance. A decorated amateur with a history of facing Davis in the amateurs and sparring sessions, Roach entered the first fight as an underdog but left as a legitimate contender. His ability to withstand Davis's power, combined with his technical prowess, earned him respect from peers and fans alike. Roach's confidence and professionalism in the ring were evident, as he remained composed even as Davis landed significant shots. His performance has shifted perceptions, with many now viewing him as a genuine threat to Davis's reign. Davis, meanwhile, remains one of boxing's most electrifying figures. A Baltimore native with a 30-0 record, 28 KOs, he has built a reputation as a knockout artist with a flair for entertainment. His fights are must-watch events, drawing massive pay-per-view audiences. However, the draw against Roach has raised questions about his current form and mindset. Reports of a lackluster training camp, where he sparred only a smaller fighter, suggest he may have underestimated Roach. Additionally, Shields' comments about his mental state highlight potential offering challenges that could impact his performance. The rematch, rescheduled from June to mid-August, gives both fighters ample time to prepare. For Davis, it's an opportunity to reassert his dominance and silence doubters. For Roach, it's a chance to prove the first fight was no fluke and claim the WBA lightweight title. Oddsmakers have Davis as a 6-1 favorite, but the gap has narrowed compared to the 16-1 odds of their first meeting, reflecting Roach's newfound credibility. Fans are divided, with some believing Davis's power and experience will prevail, while others see Roach's resilience and tactical acumen giving him the edge. The mental aspect, as Shields emphasized, could be a deciding factor. If Davis is indeed grappling with personal struggles, Roach's focus and hunger could exploit any vulnerabilities. Conversely, a motivated Davis, fully prepared and locked in, is a formidable opponent capable of ending the fight early. The boxing world's voices, Romero, Garcia, Shields, Stevenson, Jones, and Haney, offer a spectrum of perspectives, from confidence in Davis's adjustments to belief in Roach's potential to upset. The rematch promises to be a technical, high-stakes affair, with both fighters bringing their best to settle the score. As the August showdown approaches, the anticipation continues to build, with the outcome poised to shape the lightweight division's landscape and the legacies of both men.